ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः Bodhasara class. We just call the different classes by different names, but they all converge in their message of one thing and one thing alone. What is that thing? You, that's all. You, as the Upanishad mirror reflects. Not you as the mirror that is made of your mind, ahankara, etc. Not that mirror. That mirror always shows one off in a very bad light. And so we need the new Upanishad mirror. Upanishad mirror, if you want to do Sandhi, okay? And you need the Upanishad mirror to be able to see yourself differently. And the Upanishad mirror shows you off in the best light possible, and that's exactly how you want to see yourself. That's exactly what you think of yourself ultimately. And in the middle, this is difficult. In the beginning, sorry, it is difficult, and so therefore the text is the mirror, and we gaze into the text, which is the mirror, and this mirror happens to have a name called Bodhasara, and we are in the midst of a wonderful section that is quite long, and that is talking about how the life of the jnani, what does it look like? The life of a jnani has a certain way of unfolding, and what can we learn from that? And this is important because what we learn from the life of the jnani is a way of practicing. It's a way of sadhana, of seeing where we can imbibe some of these qualities. And we are in this section that talks about the daily practices of the sages. And the daily practices of the sages is it's a nice pun on the everyday affairs. It's a wonderful pun because you see the person sipping water, which is a daily practice. See, achamanam, but here the water is shraddha, things like that. And so we see that. And so now we are looking at the Samaveda mantra, which is called Rathantara Samaganam. And so therefore, we have been looking at that, how to have Shraddha, how to cultivate this, etc. And then last week or whenever this class met, he said, do not stop at these four qualities: Shraddha, overcoming lack of Shraddha, overcoming anger. Please extrapolate the same thing to other qualities as well. And we talked about Nidra, how to overcome tamas, etc. And then he continues in verse number 8. Let us chant that. मदमत्सरमुख्यांश्च सर्वभूतात्मभावनात् अन्यानपि जयेद्दोषान् नित्यानित्यविचारणात् मदमत्सरमुख्यांश्च सर्वभूतात्मभावनात् अन्यानपि जयेद्दोषान् नित्यानित्यविचारणात्. Wonderful, very nice. So, Krodha, Kama, Lobha, all this we have seen. And now what? Mada and Matsarya. Mada is pride. Matsarya, here called Matsara. Matsara, Matsarya, one and the same. Matsarasya bhava Matsarya. Matsarya or Matsara here means envy, jealousy. Mada, pride, and then Matsara, jealousy. So, what is this pride? Pride for what? That is the question that Narahari, the author of Bodhasara, is asking. So, pride is there because of some accomplishment or achievement. Pride is also there when the question of giving comes, because the giver is very much present, and this feeling, I have given, I am the giver, that feeling itself is all wrong. Oh, so I'm not the giver? No. Oh, then who is the giver? Giver is Bhagavan. Because Bhagavan gave to you, you are in the position to give to another. Simple. Because everything is given. You are not the author of anything at all except perhaps confusion. That's all. That you can take the authorship. Copyright confusion. That's all. Nothing else. What have you given? What have you made, really? And in fact, even in the Bible, this is recognized. There is some story in the Christian tradition. Say, fight between God and man. Why man? Why not woman? Because that's how the story is. So then the man said, whatever you do, I can do better, to God. And what did God say? Okay, the competition is on. Start, do something. Let's see. And so the man picked a clod of earth from the ground, and God said, get your own earth. Don't use what I have made. You have to you have to use something you have made. It's not possible. Not possible. Not at all possible. You see this again and again. You come up short, you come up completely. Even this body with which you can, with this body mind complex is given, with which you can move, with which you can fight, with which you can compete, with which you can have pride. All the accoutrements are given. Body is given. You didn't sit and make this body and attach the hands and legs. No, it was already there, already made. Hunger was there, food given. And then what else is there? The thirst is there, water given. When you came out of the mother's womb, you didn't come out with a water bottle. You trusted that something will be there, it was already given. Everything is given. You didn't come out, you didn't make a lunch box and come out. No, it's all given, 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 given. It's there, it's there, it's there, it's there. And then you grow up, clothes are given, schooling is given, everything is given. In fact, reading the Upanishad, study of the Upanishad, tells you that there is no such thing as, quote unquote, a self made man. Usually they don't say self made woman, it's always man. You see in the papers, you see in the articles about billionaires, self made man. He had no help. And he also likes the article that's written about him. He will add a few things. He will say, oh, I studied under the street light. He may have studied one night, okay? And then I had only two clothes on my back, two clothes, two sets of clothes. One was drying on the tree, and one was on my body. People like to say this, especially in Asian culture. This is a very big thing, and people like to keep on saying it. I'm sure you know a few people who talk like this. I didn't take. I don't believe in taking help. I am a DIY fellow. Do it yourself. DIM, do it myself. Everything I have done myself. Me. And then what? And then I have got all this wealth. Self made man. And it's very difficult to deal with this self-made man. And God forbid that this self-made man is a father. Terrible. Tyrannizes the children, jealous of the own children. Oh, I studied under a street light and you have a nice light to study. And they are confused. Yeah, dad, you gave it. That's why we have it. We are enjoying it. What is it to you? No. You should be grateful. You should be this, you should be that. Terrible to have a self made man as daddy. Okay. So, there is no such thing. There is no such thing as a self made man. Because even if somebody studied under the street light, there was a story which came on some social media site. And there was a tourist, this was before the pandemic. There was a tourist who went to Thailand and saw one small boy with a small little desk studying under the street lamp right outside his house because there was no electricity, or it was too noisy, or I don't know what the story was. I don't remember the details. And of course, that photo of that boy studying under the street light went viral, and people just found out who he was and gave to him so much that his whole family's destiny changed. So, yeah, there are certain things, certain situations. But let's not forget street light to study given. ah, Clothes on the back given. Dal rice one day to eat given. Another day rice and dal to eat given. It's all given. And in this understanding that it is given is the emotional maturity. I am not the giver. The giver is Bhagavan. I am in a privileged place to manage what is given. Even though it is in my bank account, it is in my name, it is whatever it is, but still it is given by Bhagavan. This understanding cancels out the mada, pride, because there is no need for pride, because you haven't done anything. You have, and if you are in a comfortable situation, it is purva punya, the grace of the actions in a past life fructifying properly. Purva punya. It fructifies. Why should it fructify now? Well, it has. That's the punya. It could have fructified some other time, but right now I'm enjoying it. Fantastic. That is great. That is wonderful. That is absolutely wonderful. So you are in this position because you have been fortunate and you have been given. You are not the giver. Even though we say, please be a giver, that is just relatively speaking, because it is difficult for people to give. We encourage people to give so that they grow, and that's a different thing. There is no such thing as you as the author of anything. And this cuts down the mada, pride. Why should I cut down the mada? So what if I'm prideful? Well, you can have the mada, no problem, except for one small detail. What is that detail? The more the pride, the less Vedanta. That's what. Because if you feel you are the author of everything, and you have accomplished this and that, and then such a person comes to Vedanta, then Vedanta becomes one more thing to conquer, one more prize, one more conquest. Vedanta is not something to conquer. It is something where you are conquered. The ahankara is cornered and then conquered. Conquered means what? It conks out finally. And it is conquered. It's kind of reeling in the new understanding. Oh, I'm not the giver. Okay, you know how in the comics they have little bells and little cheap, cheap, cheap birds going in a circle around the head. That's exactly how the Ahankara is feeling. Oh, I'm not the author. Oh no, I'm not the giver. Oh no, I haven't accomplished anything. Oh no. Then only Vedanta can start. Because when there is mada, pride, there is no shraddha. Because if you are the author of everything and anything, and you are trying to accomplish the Upanishad, you are trying to conquer the Upanishad, good luck. Why? Because it is not something to conquer, it is not something to put under the belt. It is something to you allow to be conquered. You allow to the Upanishads to do a number on you, to operate upon you, to remove the wrong understanding and help you assimilate things correctly. This is why the ahankara has to be what? Biffed a little bit. Just give it one little, one little thing. That is the mada. That mada means that there is very even on the even if you're not interested in Vedanta, if you were to say, I just logged on because I was curious, I'm not really interested in Vedanta, then still mada comes in the way of everyday relationships. As long as there is pride in the accomplishments, it's very difficult to be close to anybody. And one seeks that closeness, one wants that closeness with significant others, with the family, with the friends, etc. But then one becomes insufferable. Nobody wants to be close to you. You have alienated everybody because of the feeling that there is no one better than me. And people get sick of it, people let you be with that feeling. And that is one more reason to conquer mada. So, this is what is called mada. And this is why it needs to be eliminated, if not eliminated, at least suspended and put out of the way in order to understand, in order to continue to understand. So when one, this, when one gives something, that's why it says Hriyadeyam in the Upanishad. Taittiriya Upanishad. Bhiyadeyam, Hriyadeyam. Hriyadeyam means when you give, there should be a kind of a sankocha. Sankocha means a kind of a shame. Shame here means a humility. I'm sorry, I can only give this much. I do not have the ability or the daring to give more. And so there is a sense of shyness, like, oh, I'm so sorry, it's only this much. Bhiyadeyam, give out of a sense of fear. Fear of what? There is not fear, means you're not afraid here. But bhiyadeyam means give from a sense of the awareness of Bhagavan. Bhagavan is the giver, I'm just a proxy giver. Bhagavan is the giver. Hriyadeyam, Bhiyadeyam. How to give is also taught in the Upanishad. Very, very beautiful. All this is to cut down this Rakshasa called Mada. So Mada, and Mada is conquered by Dama. Very nice. So you change mada into the ma. What is the ma? Restraint of the organs of action, including speech. Speech means what? You know, the tongue. Yeah. I gave. Quiet. Quiet. Give and run away. Hriyadeyam. Oh, but my name will not come in the list of donors. Let it not come. It's okay. Sit with the discomfort of not being recognized as a donor. This is actually fun. This is actually a lot of fun. And sit with the discomfort of not being given the status of being a donor. That's another thing. Oh, I gave so much and nobody is recognizing me. Did you give in order to be recognized? No. Then why do you want to be recognized? I don't know. I want to be recognized. That is the key here. Like how in the before we had all these, what is that, doorbells that take video and photos. Just had simple doorbells in the olden times, few decades back. And one of the pastimes of the children was to ring and run away. You open the door and nobody was there, and you knew it was the neighboring child or somebody from the neighborhood. This was a prank. So, just like that, just like the children ringing the bell and running away, you just give and run away from the place. Cultivate anonymity, no fanfare. No, but then they will not treat me nicely. To let them not treat you nicely. And in fact, even if you give, they may not treat you nicely. That's actually worse. you know. Knowing that you have given when they treat you badly, then it is worse. So, this way, even we sit with the discomfort of giving and then not getting anything in return. Getting what? Getting something like recognition, like some kind of, oh, you are the best, east or west, and oh, you have given so much. How wonderful. Don't wait for that. Why? Simple reason, you are not the giver. It is Bhagavan's bank account, it is Bhagavan's nidhi, kosha, it is Bhagavan's, fund. And then what? You are just in the position of giving. You are just an accidentally put in the position of giving. Just quietly give and run away from that. That is the best way to cut the mada, and after that, sit with the discomfort and console the ahankara. Oh, poor thing. Nobody's validating you. Don't worry, I will validate you. Parent the ahankara. Because you are not the ahankara. What are you? You are Sarvatman. This is what it says. सर्व भूतात्म भावनात् मदमात्सर्यम मदमत्सरम जयेत. Conquer this mada by the antidote that you are everything. You are the giver, you are the one that is given to, you are the one, you are that, that instrument of Bhagavan. You are everything and everybody. This is called Sarvatma Bhava. And so that is the antidote to mada, pride. It also happens to, and then so when you sit with the discomfort and then you console yourself, you can say that I give through many hands. And I'm not just the giver, because I'm also, as much as I'm giving, I'm receiving from the universe. I'm receiving, I am in the flow of receptivity and giving, because there is a loop there. In fact, the more you give, the more you receive. You try it. You keep giving, you'll keep getting. You'll keep getting. It's a law, it's a universal law. Because there is some kind of a karma there. At any given time, you have a certain amount in the bank. and you try giving away some, it will come back. It will come back somehow. That is how it is. So, this is being in the flow of Lakshmi, the goddess of abundance. That is a form of being in the flow is Sarvatma. Is being, that is the meaning of Sarvatma. Because I don't have any particular agenda for myself and my bank account and my possessions and my people and my things. I am in the flow. I participate in the flow, which is the flow of Ishvara, which is in tandem with everything. I am in tandem with the flow. I go with the flow. And in fact, the more you go with the flow, you become the flow. This is what Pujya Swamiji told me once. Because I asked him, how do you manage all this? How do you manage to do all these things and take care of all of us and all these people and all of us who are crazy and who have all kinds of issues, and you manage so wonderfully and effortlessly? And then he said, that's easy. I thought he'll take a long time to explain, but it was only two sentences. He said, that's very easy. All you have to do is be in the flow. And he said, I am in the flow. And then he corrected himself, I am the flow. That's all. And so, of course, it's easy for us to say that's all. But really, that is all. That is what it takes. That is what it takes. Whenever I went to him with any kind of a problem, and I would say, I need more clarity about this, he would give me some work and some, dealings with people or something like that. I would say, I need some more clarity about this. I need to do this, and I'm trying to do this way, but it's not happening. What should I do? And again, he told me this 3 or 4 times. He would say, oh, that's simple. What? Just be like me. That's what he would say. Be big like me. Be big like me. And that big, it took me some time, because at that time I was not familiar with all this lingo. Sarvatma, I hadn't studied. And before he, in his own way, he explained Sarvatma. That was be big like me, means there's no other way except being everything. Be everything. Sarvatma. And this is also the antidote to the other dosha that is mentioned here, the other fallacy, which is matsarya. Matsarya is jealousy. And jealousy comes, why does jealousy comes? Jealousy comes because one feels a sense of lack in oneself. It all goes back to that insecurity about which we have been talking non-stop, where, in this section. So jealousy comes because one thinks that one is not capable enough, one doesn't have enough, one is not enough. This is the root of jealousy. This is why jealousy comes, because one feels incompetent. One identifies with a sense of lack. Instead of identifying with all that one has, one identifies with all that one doesn't have. That is the root of jealousy. So then, having a human mind, you're not just going to sit with a sense of lack, you're going to look around and see. And then, when you spot somebody having something that you think you deserve and you don't have, then there is a feeling of intolerance. Asuya, intolerance directed at the person who you feel is having all the things that you were entitled to, that you are entitled to. That is what is jealousy. Very sad. And in a way, it is part of the samskara. It is natural to feel like that. It starts very small. That's why it's called sibling rivalry. And no matter where you are in the pecking order, one is convinced that the other sibling was treated better, given more goodies, and was more dear to the mother or the father or both. One is convinced. So if you are the eldest, you say, oh, the youngest one got everything. Yeah, and for me, I had just to be the responsible one. I was told, don't give a bad, set a bad example. Come on, listen. And do you think the youngest one is any happier? No. The youngest one says, nobody even cared. Whether I fell off, whether I fell off the bed or the chair, nobody cared. They said, "Oh, you will survive." Why? Because other two have survived. You will also survive. By the time I came along, nothing was a surprise. Yeah, your sister did this, your brother did this. So the youngest one also feels they are better. I am no good. I am just something. I am a punching bag. The youngest one feels. Oh, then better to be in the middle. Oh, don't even talk about so called middle child. The middle child is neither here nor there, neither the only boy nor the only girl. And then what, Then confused. Swayam confused, and then wondering what there is. And the middle child, grows up to become a mediator, because always trying to separate people fighting. And the middle child comes to Vedanta because the middle child just wants peace, Shanti. Kathamaham Shanti Meshyami. When will I get this lasting peace? That is often the middle child's entry to Vedanta. It's all good, wonderful. So you see, cannot escape this Matsarya. Starts young. What if you're the only child? There also there are problems. Because then you say, how can there be problems? You're the only child, so there is nobody to compete against. So there must be no jealousy. Well, there are other children around. There are other children around. And so that also is there. And so it's not that you have to have only, siblings. And in some situations, the parents themselves are competitive. The parents compete with the child. Oh, you can do this? Oh, big deal. I can do this better. And the child is very confused. Here are such big people, big in size, big in accomplishment, and they are, resentful towards me. That also happens. So one learns, and one has in the samskara this matsarya, and one learns it with very quickly also. But this again, whether you're talking of the relative level, vyavaharika satta of people and relationships, or you're talking about the study of Vedanta, paramarthika satta, the focusing on the ultimate reality. In both cases, this matsarya is a big downer. It's like being wrapped in wet rags. Think about that. Especially now that winter is coming. Think of wet, damp rags, wet towel all the time, being wrapped. A towel that never dries, okay? And how uncomfortable that feeling is. That is exactly what jealousy does to one. Jealousy eats away at the heart. It's very, very sad. And if you wish somebody, you think that you're wishing somebody ill, and you think that you are telling people, oh, you're telling them, you're saying, why do you even exist? I don't like the ground that you walk upon. Why do you exist? You are here to a thorn, a permanent thorn on my side. Go away. Away, shoo. Why do you even exist? You think you are thinking badly of them. But actually, it's a reflection of how badly one is thinking of oneself. That insecurity, that pain, that lack, should be addressed here. Should be addressed. That is the homework. I just got a note from somebody saying Please give practical, some kind of homework. I'm giving homework in every class if you want to do it. Every class there are practical suggestions, every class there is homework. And this is the homework. Sit with that insecurity, console that insecurity. Think about how much you have been given. Oh, but I can't sing. Doesn't matter. You can do other things. No, but I want to sing. Well, not in this life. Why? Because everybody runs away. Simple. When you open your mouth, everybody runs away. That means this life you're not supposed to sing. It's okay. Do something else. Enjoy the music. Sing through many mouths. This is Sarvatma Bhava. I sing through many mouths. Very nice. Oh, but I want to dance, but I have two left feet. Let other people dance. Visualize yourself dancing when you go to a concert and see the dancer on the stage. Those feet are my feet. This is not wrong. Her hands are my hands. Her gestures are my gestures. This is Sarvatma Bhava, antidote to jealousy, antidote to pride. Because and pride and jealousy go together because both of them have the root in deep insecurity. Oh, I want to cook, but I don't know how to cook. Doesn't matter. Just order food from outside and praise how wonderfully they can cook. Wonderful. Doesn't matter if you can't cook. You can do so many other things because you see, when the focus is all on all the things that one cannot do, what one can do is suppressed. It doesn't, that creativity that Bhagavan has bestowed you with cannot come out. There is no room. It is somewhere stifled by the ahankara. The ahankara is strangling it somewhere in the debris, underneath the debris of the ragadveshas and the insecurity. I want to sing, but I can't. I want to dance, but I can't. I want to be a great Vedantin, but I don't know how. I want to meditate, but I can't. And I want to do this, but I can't. No, 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 can't, cannot. If cannot is the mantra, then the can do, will do, all that is just suppressed by all this cacophony of cannot. If you take care of the cannot, then what you can do is already there. It needs time to come out. And it cannot come out if it is constantly obfuscated by your idea of what you cannot do, what you cannot have. That sense of lack and insecurity. This is the problem. This is why Matsarya comes. And on the relative level, jealousy is also overcome by going to that person, with who you admire and of whom you are jealous. Go to that person and say, I really love that you can do this so well. Oh, no, 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 I can't say that. Acknowledging that will kill me. It will kill the ahankara. It will not kill you. Don't worry. I really love what you can do. You are so amazing. Go tell that to the person. Even with gritted teeth, I really love what you can do because it's all half hearted and there is a gritted teeth and clenched fist. Doesn't matter. You have to start somewhere. You appreciate the person, and in appreciating the person, the doorways of the heart open grudgingly, creakingly, because they have not been oiled and they have been shut down for so long. Gruntingly, grudgingly, they will open, but that's enough. They open. After that, you can oil them with some drops of self compassion. Oh, theek hai, ho jayega, no problem. But here that jealousy is overcome. This is the lived Sarvatma Bhava. Sarvatma Bhava is one is not able to understand. If you don't see this, if you don't see this, one is not able to understand Sarvatma Bhava, because if you don't understand it on the level of, what is that called? On the level of the everyday. So, Sarvatma Bhava, I am everybody, everything. How does this translate? This translates in the form of a conscious and an articulated appreciation of the very qualities of which you are jealous, given to that person, directly to that person. And then that is Sarvatma in everyday life. That is what is Sarvatma Bhava. Because then that distance that you have put between you and them, because without the distance you cannot be jealous. You're jealous because there is a distance. You have created a distance. You have created a distance, and then you say, "Oh, I hate your guts." You tell yourself, because you have this which I want, and you happen to have. Bad. That's why you are bad. That's why you are terrible. Look how you strut around. And look how you have what I don't have. This is the artificial distance created. And that distance causes angst, sorrow, fear, etc. So, in going and shaking their hand, and figuratively, I'm talking about, because now after COVID, we don't like to shake hands, or everything. Everybody goes to this. Everybody is going to Namaste. Namaste has become very popular form of greeting. Very, very nice. In fact, there was a circular that went out to from the Catholic diocese to all the churches in India. Please, because they used to, in the churches, the form of greeting was hugging and kissing each other on each cheek. This is how they greeted each other. And the circular went to all the churches. Please adopt the Hindu lifestyle of greeting. Please do namaste. Very nice. It's a no touch culture, You do namaste. I bow to that which is you, which is me. This is Sarvatma Bhava. In Namaste, there is Sarvatma Bhava. Think about this. It's a greeting. I bow to your qualities. I bow to your accomplishments, because it's non separate from me. Ultimately, that which upholds all your accomplishments, of which I have, some problems, because of which I have some problems, is the same thing that upholds me, that upholds my creativity, that even upholds all the problems that I have in connection to you. When this namaste is a lived Sarvatma Bhava. Very, very nice. I mean, think about this. Two hands, they have nothing in common. Even the fingerprints are different. And usually the dominant hand is slightly bigger and better formed, more muscular than the non dominant hand. And yet they come together. Fingers are different, fingerprints are different, everything is separate. And then here, all the differences are not subsumed. It's not, they are transcended, they are acknowledged and transcended. You see the difference, you acknowledge the differences, and you go beyond that to see that which is non different in you, in me, that which upholds your qualities, and that which upholds my problems concerning your qualities, is that Satchidananda Atma, because of which you are, because of which I am. All the differences are transcended. So when you appreciate somebody, then again that in the everyday life, it's an expression of Sarvatma Bhava, because the differences are transcended. Oh, but it hurts to appreciate. It's in the moment. When that hurt resolves, and the ahankara is very resilient, it licks itself back, and to some kind, to some semblance of, it licks its wounds and comes back. It comes back. And we are not trying to get rid of the ahankara. We're not trying to get rid of it, because without ahankara, how can you get the knowledge? Ahankara means I notion, that I notion is there. But if it's not an enlightened I, okay, forget enlightened I, it should be a lightened ahankara, lightened of the burden of identification, wrong identification with its possessions, with its body, with its mind, with its whatever it is. It's lightened of the burden that it has a sense of lack. It's lightened of the burden that it is the of insecurity that it mistakenly carries. It's lightened of the burden of feeling that it is not enough. That is where we are headed. So any kind of jealousy, and see, jealousy is something the the in the Mahabharata it is said that jealousy go is the last to go. Even in the Bhagavad Gita, there is a verse. I'm not recalling it right at this minute, but there is a verse that says, Vimatsaraha. The jnani should be Vimatsaraha. And there is no need to mention that, because if one is a jnani, one is naturally Vimatsaraha, one should think. But there is something here to take stock of. There is something here to take stock of, and so Vimatsaraha. It's a non-competitive I, and the non-competitive I is ready for knowledge. And of course, when you talk about this, the question comes: it's a competitive society, and if I'm non-competitive, I will not get ahead. I will not get the merits. I will not get my promotion. Yes, true. This is true. And this is our perennial problem, because from a non competitive society, we have had to make the transition to a competitive world. The Vedic society was naturally non competitive, it was designed to be non competitive. And it's a transition that is very difficult to make. Granted, true enough. But what is also true is that there is we take recourse to dharma, and there are dharmic ways of competing and then letting go. You can compete, but you have a sense of you have a sense of how the other person is not any different from you. In the Olympics, we see Sarvatma Bhava very, very nicely in display. How? You see the Wimbledon tennis match. Of course, everybody cannot win. There is a winner, there is a loser. By 1 point, the other person lost. And the winner is already seeing, okay, I'm getting the trophy, this is the final match, I'm going to get the trophy, here it is right within my reach, and throws the racket in the air, takes off the t-shirt and throws the t-shirt in the air and dances. And then what? And the person becomes very serious, sees the other person there on the other side of the net. This is Sarvatma Bhava. Matches that mood. He or she is not, it should be he, because she will not take off her t-shirt and throw it into the air. Okay. So men's singles finals, let's say. So he is not faking it. He genuinely is in the shoes of the other person. It could have been him. But some stroke of luck, some grace, some strong reflexes. Oh, go this way. Some grace. Okay, how do you know that the ball is coming this way? Somehow, instinctively, he runs this way. The ball happens. The final ball happens to come this way, and he whacks it there, and it falls there. And the other person who had assumed that this ball could not even be picked up is surprised into not taking that other ball, and the match is over. It could well have been him. He knows that. That's why he becomes serious. It could be me. I'm so sorry. I'm happy I won, but I'm so sorry that you could not win. Shakes the hand. That is Sarvatma Bhava right there. Right there. It is just so amazing. Very, very amazing. And so this Sarvatma Bhava, that which has its practices, in bridging the gap between oneself and the other. By being in the other person's shoes, if somebody one encounters which is a little less fortunate than oneself, and by appreciating the one that is more fortunate than oneself, because it's all karma, it is all Ishvara. I don't have. No, you have. It is there. It will come. It will come to the fore. No, but I can only do one thing well. That's good. That's wonderful. One thing well is nice. And let that one thing be Vedanta. I can study Vedanta very well. Wonderful. That's the best quality. Nothing else you need. That is wonderful. That itself will help you cross all over everything, including being cross all the time. It will help you cross. So, this way, one conquers Mada and Matsarya by what is called Sarvatma Bhava. And then, next line says, Anyan api jayet doshan. Anyan doshan api jayet. In this manner, evam, in this manner, all the other doshas that are there, flaws, fallacies, shortcomings that one recognizes within oneself, anyanapi, other, anyanapi jayed dosha. How? Nitya nitya vicharanat. By dwelling, vichara, dwelling, contemplating, sitting with, meditating upon what is Nitya and Anitya. What is Nitya? That which is permanent. What is permanent? You. Satchidananda Atma, which you are trying to understand as whole, unfettered, free of samsara, that is you. That is Nitya. What is something else? What is anything else? Everything else, Anitya. And the whole day from morning to night, we have become experts in dabbling in Anitya. Dabble, dabble, dabble. Morning, afternoon, dabble, dabble, dabble. Cha, 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 dance with Anitya all the time. One is completely enmeshed, embroiled in Anitya. Here an Anitya, there an Anitya, everywhere Anitya, Anitya. Old Mac Jiva had a Jagat, okay, filled with Anitya. That's all it is. That's all it is. Anitya here, Anitya there. And then the Nitya is not understood, it's not dwelt upon, it's not, there is no value for that which is Nitya. Because the Anitya is taken to be Nitya. That is the sad part. When the impermanent is mistaken for the permanent, there is no place for the permanent. Permanent becomes impermanent by some strange quirk of one's identifications, wrong identifications. Atma, which is permanent, one doesn't deal with it at all, treats it as though it is impermanent. And the impermanent and everything impermanent means finite. Everything that is finite, everything that is time bound, we want to make it last forever and ever and ever and ever and ever. How is that possible? No, I want this to be forever. Fifth marriage vow. What about the other four marriages? No, this is the real thing. You see, even for somebody, a lay person who doesn't know Vedanta, there is an understanding of what is real. That which is permanent is real. This is something which is wonderful, very very wonderful to think about and understand. That which is permanent is real. Everybody knows this. That's why, if in India this is very common. One mother tells another mother, one parent tells another parent, my daughter got a job. Oh, wonderful, congratulations, says the other parent. Is it permanent? No, no, no. For 6 months, the person is on probation. After that, it will be. What is permanent? Even this body is not permanent. Your moods are not permanent. Your raga dvesha are not permanent. Nothing is permanent except the one that is saying nothing is permanent. That's the only one that is permanent. And if one doesn't understand this, then one goes and keeps on living in the realm of the impermanent. But then the desire for that permanence is so strong that one is trying to make the impermanent into permanent. Not possible. How can the finite become infinite? The infinite is not something that becomes, it simply is. Simply is. And so, therefore, this is this nitya vicharana, this dwelling on what is permanent, I. And that is where the focus should be on making this I relation in relation to the body mind sense complex fit for the study of oneself as permanent. If the focus is there, then all the other things drop by the wayside. In fact, you become very popular at home because you don't argue with anybody. Oh, I really want this. Okay, have this because my sights are set elsewhere. Oh, you mean I can really have this? Yeah, have this. I want to argue with you. Okay, let's argue. Well, oh, but I want to win. Okay, win. No problem. In losing the argument, you win at being one with the permanent. It's a win-win situation. The other person goes away very happy because all they wanted was to win an argument. And you go away happy because you get to focus more on the truth of yourself. This is how, this is nitya vicharana. Nitya vicharana in the daily life translates into one and only one question. Whatever the situation that you're facing at hand, ask yourself this question: is it worth it to engage? Is it worth it? And if you're honest with yourself, always the answer will be no. It is not worth it. Nothing is worth it because you are the only thing that is worthy, and that self alone has to be pursued. More we will see next time. ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्तिः 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 हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ. Here is a question. I feel like main reason because of ahankara, correct? So how can I invoke the Sarvatma Bhava into the ego? By seeing yourself as everyone and everything. That's how. Yeah, that's how. Sarvatma Bhava, that is how you invoke. Yeah, so the ignorance, don't worry about the ignorance. Ignorance will go. Ignorance will go, but you don't worry about ignorance. Main thing to be concerned about is all the things that come in the way of seeing yourself as whole. All the things that come in the way: raga, dvesha, madha, matsarya, kama, krodha, etc., they are taken care of by here sarvatma bhava. Sarvatma bhava means, transcending your sense of lack to appreciate another, and in that there is a loosening of that insecurity. That is what is being talked about. Mada also. So, Mada means pride, and so pride also is in seeing that everything is given. This is all a manifestation of Sarvatma in the daily life. So, rather than doing cha 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 with Anitya, yes, we should do with Aditya, rays of knowledge. Yes, well put. Go for it. Cha 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 with Aditya from a distance, because otherwise one gets scorched. Okay, all right. All the best. Take care.
Thank
Oh,
you so much.
thank you.